Subject I've discussed many times, but there's a particularly stupid comment that I saw from a person who, we have this. It's like the nerds on Twitter don't seem to be nerds at all. It's more a bunch of fucking posers, but hey, retweets, follows, social justice, whatever. And I saw a particularly dumbass comment that I wanted to, and that's what I do thank Twitter for, if nothing else. Twitter is a hotbed for easy content for me because there's no shortage of retards. Retards can give you a lot of good content. But I saw this. You probably, if you follow me on Twitter, you saw me respond to this dumbass thing. So let's go through it in detail. So this person, and I don't know if you know the person. I don't know him. I've never heard of him. Let's see. Does this person have like a YouTube or something? Why? Yeah. No. Yes. No. I don't know. Has some questionable people on her deal. Looks like we got a Miles Morales site and we got Miss Marvel, Riri Williams. Yeah. This person has a bunch of people that if I saw this and you post this on your I guess banner. This is what this is on Twitter. If you post this on your banner, I'm not taking you serious for anything. Yeah, there's a couple of characters here and there that I'm like, oh yeah, they're valuable. But look at all these weirdos that they have. There's none of the even prominent. I guess this is right here is Peter, but none of the prominent even characters on the DC side are even there. Like there's no Batman, no Superman, there's just tokenized. Look at this. It's 15 Spider-Folk. Look at all these Spider-Folk here, man. Miles Morales, Spider-Woman, Silk. Look at this shit. Anyway, yeah, that should have told me everything. This is actually me just now seeing this person's banner. So considering the people that this person is looking to show off on their banner, I know that I shouldn't have even engaged. But here we have this post right here, which was a particularly dumb one. And this is what she said. Quoting, but they're white in the comics. Yeah, and they were also made in the 40s. Okay. Let's think of characters that have been tokenized because this is what we're referring to, right? What she's pointing to is the fact that there's a bunch of race swaps that happen. And then she's alluding to the idea that every character is Batman or Superman. So characters that were created a long time ago. That couldn't be anything further from the truth. And a lot of the characters that you now see coming to fruition with these, like even with the Marvel Cinematic Universe and their tokenization, whether it be with the Valkyries of the world, being based on Norse mythology, there should never be a white Valkyrie. A black Valkyrie. Makes no fucking sense. Or white as Guardians in the first place. But for Marvel's sake, these characters were not created in the fucking 40s. Was like Baron Mordo. This is that they've tokenized. I mean, hell, pretty much every damn character that you could think of that the MCU has tokenized were not existing there's not even that many characters that existed in the 40s when they were created that are still around, aside from those like you look at Batman and Superman and those. I mean, Spider-Man was not created in the 40s, believe it or not. A lot of these characters were created like 2 decades after that shit. And even then, there's characters that are being tokenized like that are, being created in the 80s. Like what you're going to see coming into like the Claremont's era of X-Men. Wait till you see those characters pop up. A lot of them are going to be fucking race swapped and all kinds of shit. So never mind what she's saying is factually incorrect, but she's just essentially saying that it's okay because these characters were created in a different time. And some people say that, well, this is a time where black characters just were not created because they couldn't be created and yada, yada, yada. So even if we assumed that what she said was true, which is not, we've already been through this. This is a fucking poser. A chick has no idea what she's talking about. Straight up pose everything she probably knows about the character, some shit she Googled on some fandom Wikipedia site. Okay. But let's even just for the sake of conversation, which I don't know of that, look at these characters and say, okay, well, they were created in the 40s. So what? So what? Even if every single prominent comic book character from Marvel DC was created in the 40s, so the fuck what? So what? See, what you're doing is you're excusing laziness, right? You got characters that have gone through decades of growth. Not all of them have ever stuck, right? Even with some of the ones that you think of, like the OG DC superheroes, a lot of them were changed around before they really, really caught on. See Green Lantern and how they, with the introduction of Hal Jordan, completely changed what Green Lantern was about. And instead, it wasn't just this one guy's shit. It was actually this kind of space police force there, right? That's what happened with the introduction of Hal. So even with some of the characters that you know have stuck around, there was a lot of growth, a lot of trial, a lot of error. And they stuck. Not all of them. If you think of all of the characters that have been around for decades or that were created, let's say even between like 1950 to 1980, like a lot of those characters, if not most of them, were DOA. There's a lot of trial and a lot of error back then. What you are excusing is bad behavior because you think that because of whatever social, I don't know, like whatever the social landscape is makes this an acceptable thing because you're an activist. You're not a fan of this shit. You're an actual activist. And this is what writers, producers, this is what they pick up on. Like, oh, I can do it because of the times. And this is why I set my sights on these types so often. It's not just because they're poses. It's because I'm an artist, man. That's not art. What you're doing is fucking palette swap. That's not art. That's not creativity. That's not what creativity is even about. And if you don't know what you're doing, and I say this for everybody that does this dumb tokenization shit, whether it be you accepted the job of the tokenization or you fucking did it yourself with it in the books, whatever reason it was, you're a fucking loser, number one. But my thing has always been, if you don't know what it is that you're doing, leave the work to someone that does. Because it's not on me. It's not on me to sit up there and go easy on you because you think that, okay, because of the social landscape, it's okay for you to tokenize. No. If you don't know how to do it in creating, let's say, an original character that isn't tied to one of these older heroes, and you maybe that character is going to be whatever, black, whatever. If you don't know how to do that, then get the fuck out the way. Just get out the way and admit it. You don't have what it takes. You're incapable of creating something from the ground up and having it stick with supporters. You don't know what you're doing. So you project that inferiority, let's call it what it is from a creative sense, onto everybody else. So you say, well, we have to do this because of the times. No, you're just saying that because that excuses you in not even enjoying these characters. Because like we found out with many of the guys that we go back and forth with about Miles Morales, these guys have no idea who the fuck Miles Morales is. They just like the idea of him. They've seen him swinging around in the fucking movie at 2 frames per second. That's all that that's all they, so they like the idea of this black Spider-Man. That's it. They don't actually know them. They don't actually know anything about him, because if they knew anything about him, they wouldn't go around even trying to absolve him of being an unoriginal tokenized piece of garbage. If you've read his books, there's nothing from this character that we haven't already seen 17 times from either Peter or a version of him. There is nothing that we haven't seen. Maybe you like that, and that's what happens. That's how they get you. Oh, well, I like it. It was okay. I don't know anything about the books. I don't know. And that's what I've said before. Like, understanding the tokenization requires less of you knowing the tokenized version of the character and more of you knowing the original. A lot of y'all don't know who Peter Parker is. So, yeah, you see someone web slinging in a slightly altered suit. You think, oh, well, that's an original. Well, you crack smoking motherfucker. No, he's not. But you like the idea of these characters. You like the idea of having black versions of white things because, number one, you only see legitimacy in white characters. Number two, you're a talentless hack. And as I've ended a lot of these videos saying, we're going to show them how to do it. Because you can't. The mainstream hacks can't know. The stands that support you, the pissy broke stands that don't even buy your comic books. They do shit like this. They make stand accounts with banners and then they pirate everything. No, they don't even read the books. All they do is read someone else's summary of it, and that's about it. They're not going to the comic. They don't even know where the local comic book shop is. They ain't going to the comic book shop on a goddamn Wednesday. So we're going to show them how to do it. So when I am in possession of some of the most prominent characters in the modern era, and, you know, some of those not being white, we're just going to be handing out a bunch of DX suck it signs, laughing to the bank, moonwalking on dead careers of comic pros and telling you to shut the fuck up every time you shout from the mountaintops that, oh, nobody supports original black characters. This is why we have to tokenize. Shut up. You're just talentless and you don't want to admit it. You just listened to a clip from my podcast, For Canon's Sake, which is live throughout the week at 12 p.m. Central on youtube.com/YoungRipper59 and odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. Be sure to check out my website, ericdjuly.com, so you can stay up to date with everything it is that I'm doing. You can also become a member and get access to a bunch of cool perks and exclusive content, which includes a social media hub where you can interact with myself and other members. It even has an app that you can get, which is now live in the Google and Apple stores.